Well, I thought what I'd do is show you my routine for those who are interested. I did a lot of study on YouTube, finding out what would work for me. And as I said in the other video about keeping fit, it varies from person to person. Some people think, like, if you look these names up, Mike Mensa developed a different kind of philosophy for training, and he trained people who went on to become Mr. Olympia. Dorian Yates, the British guy, went on. He was trained to a large extent by Mike Mensa, who said that the healing part of doing exercises, we're talking about lifting weights now, the healing part is as important as actually doing the exercise. But what Mensa did was, with going the heaviest possible weight that you can lift, to do only 6 reps, and then once you've done that on the various muscle groups, you take a rest, and you may rest depending on your healing capacity. You may rest for 3 or 4 days. Well, this flies in the face of people like Tom Platz, Cutler, Schwarzenegger, all of these guys who went on to become incredibly big. Schwarzenegger especially was something of the pioneer, and he used to train for 4 hours at a time, and so did Platz. Platz trained so heavily on his legs that when he'd finished his session he could hardly walk. I know the feeling. So what I've ended up doing, which you may find useful to know, I've ended up using some calisthenics, mainly for convenience, because I get up at 4 and I want to, after I've had a shower and all of that, I want to come in and go straight into doing my training. So it's indoors. So this part of what I do is indoors. And if you can just bear in mind that every exercise that I show that I'm doing, I actually do 4 sets of 20 reps, every one, except the very last one, which I will do fully so that you can see it. The very last one that I do is what my friend and I, who I used to work out with in Florida, used to call the Spartan. And apparently the exercise that I'll show you at the end is one which the actors used who were in the movie Spartan, because they went through incredibly hard training to be as buff as they are. So right now, so that you don't die of boredom, I'm just going to do a few of each exercise in the routine that I do. Now, I do all of this, it takes roughly, when I do all of them, it takes about 25 minutes. Obviously, I'm not going to do that now. I'll just do a few of each exercise, but I'll do it in the order that I do every morning. So I'm starting off, and really the first few exercises are more about loosening up and warming up, and getting my twisting the back and doing a few things that cater especially to old men. And then for this one, those 2 exercises you've seen me do there are really just a warm up. This is what I do for those. and then I go back and do this, and then do that, and so on, until I've done 4 sets of 20 of each. Now once I've done that, I then do this one, which is a little bit more difficult. And I go right to the legs and then right over. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I do 4 sets of 20 of that, and you notice that I'm going right from the upright and going here, which actually stresses the arms more and also the abdominals. So going from here right to reach upright is also an exercise in itself. And then I do this one right at the back. And I do them slowly so that you get the maximum stress on the muscle. Like that. Then I also, in between this, while I'm having a rest on that, I flex on the muscles again for the abs. And actually this one is the pelvic platform, I think it's called. I do that with the muscle. So I do 20 of that, and then I come back and do 20 of this. And I alternate those so that instead of taking a rest, I do something else. So that's that on that. Now turn over. And when you go down like this, it's called a plank, but I'm doing a little amended version of it because I think I need the help. And then I stretch out. And I come back and I do the arch. And I alternate those two like I do on a lot of others. When I've done that, I'm actually onto the last exercise. This exercise is actually a killer. And just so that you can see how I do it, I count 1 to 5 on each one. I count 1, come back down, 1, 1, and I go 1, 2, 1, 2, and so on. I do that until I reach 5, and then I start coming back down, counting 4, 3, 2, 1. So 4, 3, 2, 1. And when I've done all 3, I go 3, 2, 1. But I'll show you. When you've done this, you really know that you've worked out. 1, 1, 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Going back down now. 4, 3, 2, 1. 4, 3, 2, 1. 4, 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1. 2, 1. 2, 1. 2, 1. 1, 1, 1. So, you can see how that works now. That's kind of all exercises in one. It's aerobic because it gets the heart rate up, as you can hear, and it's also a stretch thing. So you're stretching, you're also doing squats. You can cheat, of course, so you've got to be careful. Got to be careful not to cheat, to go that. Don't go like this. 1. That's not the way to do it. You're going to go pick it up. 1, 1, like this. So that's how you do that. Now I'm convinced that if you did only that exercise and those couple of machines out there, given consistency and discipline and working hard and doing the exercise correctly, you would very, very soon, no matter what your state of fitness now, you will be very soon very fit. Now the target for that exercise, which I think is so important and so good, the target for that is to be able either to raise the volume and count so that you're going 1 to 10, 1 to 10, 1 to 10, and then coming back down 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 9, 8, and so on. 9, 8. If you could work up to that, which is what I'm trying to do, the way that you would do that at first is just count going up. So you'd be counting 1 to 6 or 7 or however many you could count going up. You'll know that you've worked out when you've done that. I hope, looking at what I'm doing, I have to say, I hope that it'll help. What I found in the early time, until I managed to struggle through, and it is a struggle, I found that keep on having more and more information, and eventually you will lose what you started out at. When I was outside, when I was working later, I was going out there later when it was daylight, And what I did was one particular routine, like the routine I've showed you. And I did that faithfully. And then as I tried to learn more about what could be a greater benefit to me, I started to leave off here and not go in there. And finally, it just got to be a mess. And then I started looking at calisthenics, which I could do here, and which that was when I set my rigid habit, my routine in the morning, out of bed, 4 o'clock, shower, shave, brush my teeth, do the toilet, everything that you need to do. And then I'd just have a small glass of water and I would come in here and I would do that routine that I've just showed you. 4 sets of 20 of everything except the last one. I don't think I could do 4 sets of 20 of that, or of what I do of that. But now you understand. So you may go through a period where it doesn't seem worth it, and you've done too much. You can overtrain, do it too much. But as you look at what the big bodybuilders who are experts at attaining muscle, at what they're saying, you will begin to arrive at a belief system which works for you. One guy, you have Mike Menser, who did 1 session to failure. He would lift a heavy weight. He would have people that he was training, and they'd lift a heavy weight that was so heavy they could only do 6, and that was the target. And then they wouldn't go to the gym. Maybe 1 or 2 or 3 days, depending on them. So there's one way of doing it. And then there's another young guy who everybody's accusing of being on so many roids and all of the supplements that you can get to give you muscle. He's accused of it all, but he is absolutely massive. And when he was asked about how Mensa, who's dead now, by the way, how he said that you've got to rest, he said, there's no way that you can do more to your body through exercise that it can't take it and still on a daily basis do the repair work in healing. He said, of course, if you go hard at it, you might feel like you've been hit by a truck. And I've been there too. So yes, I found that taking time off, a day or 2 days off, it completely ruined it for me. The best way for me was to come in here every day and do my routine. And then in the afternoon, I would go out there and do some weights, where I would do the curls, and I would do some work on the bench, and I would do all of those as a supplement to what I'm doing now. One thing that I did say, which a lady expert in muscle development said, don't worry about getting rid of your waist. Worry about, or focus, not worry, focus on developing muscle. Muscle weighs heavier than fat. And what I found is that as I just concentrated with the target of being fit. That's my target, to be fit. I'm actually 84 years old now, and I will be 85 in July, which actually at my age is just around the corner. So if you have gained something out of what we've done here today, and you like what you've seen, please, it helps a great deal if you share our videos, if you share my videos on this, because there are people out there who could do with a leg up, and maybe this will help them. So like, comment. I'm always happy to see your comments, especially if you are a gym rat. Don't expect that I'm going to change everything because you know better. I'm doing what I've found works for me, but would love to hear what works for you. And I'm sure that other people who also read the comments would also like to see what's working for you now as well. So, thanks a lot and hope you enjoyed it. I'll go and collapse in the bedroom now. Bye for now.